Hey guys, Nick Gerosos here from CodeRedDefense.com. I'm here with Moose. We just filmed a whole bunch of, videos, and when you're fighting a guy who's 6'6", 300 pounds with a nickname like Moose, I actually wasn't expecting him to be that fast. He's actually faster than I thought. It was not as, we have the idea that they're big and they're slow, and that comes down to, we're just going to talk about a couple of subjects. Number one is never underestimate your opponent. Doesn't matter his size. Like I said, being big, he's fast. Don't think he's slow because he's big. Don't think he's not dangerous because he's small, because maybe he's carrying a knife. And sometimes these skinny, little guys are as hardest to fight than these big guys. They're very nervous, they move fast, and because they know they're not strong, chances are they got a weapon. Especially go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, they're dirty. So if like I said, if I see a small guy picking on me, I know there's something wrong with this guy. It's either he's high, drunk, he's carrying something. There's no one in their right mind that's gonna try themselves on me, right? No one. So I wouldn't. If I would see a guy my size, I wouldn't want to try him, right? Naturally, I wouldn't want to try him, and I'm his size. So because I know what I can do.
Yeah.
So he knows, and that. He knows what I can do too. So more likely, the two big guys won't fight.
I wouldn't want to see that.
They won't fight. You won't see it.
It's true.
You won't see it often on the rink, but you won't see it on the street. There's a mutual respect there. And I hear stories on the street. I remember one guy was telling me, he goes, there was two guys, they came out of the car, they were arguing, they came out of the car, they stepped out, wanting to fight. They both looked at each other. They were both big guys. They smiled and they went back into their car and they left.
I love that.
Yeah, it was hysterical.
It's true because they know, guys, you know what? I've sparred with guys his size, and in the ring already, when you get punched, you know that 10 of my shots equal one of his shots. Even though if he doesn't know how to transfer his weight and move, put all the power behind the shot, I need to technically be sound with every strike. Whereas he launches one punch and your whole head goes, and you feel your whole body shake. I remember being in the ring, being faced with his name was Steven. He was 260 strong. I'm in the corner and I'm blocking, and every punch I could feel my body vibrate because there's so much power behind it. And that's it, when you're looking at these big guys, come back to keeping your ego in check. When you're faced with a guy that big, don't try to prove anything to anybody. Trying to prove that I can take a big guy can cost you, you ending up in the hospital, And I've seen people getting to fight over the dumbest things. 7 years as a doorman, I've seen fights from beginning to end. I'm thinking, wow, this guy could have just walked away and saved himself a beating. But again, our ego gets in our way, our insecurity, and we want to prove to ourselves, especially when people are around. Hey, my girlfriend's looking.
I remember a point, man. I remember a point when I was younger. I thought there was always something wrong with me because I would get angry, so aggravated. When I would get pissed off, I would start tearing. I would tear. I would tear, and tears would come down, and crying. And I would go, what's wrong with me? Why do I get so worked up when I get mad? And then I remember talking to I think it was a doctor, I'm not sure, and there's an actual term for it. It's called the lion steer.
The lion steer, wow.
It's called the lion steer. And when a guy reaches to that level, he's enraged. That's what it means. That guy's got rage. So he won't see what he's doing. He know what the hell, he doesn't care no more. He'll kill you. If he gets to you, he'll kill you. So that's very dangerous. If you see anyone at that point, just walk away, because he'll do anything. He's enraged. He's got his.
That's when you see people go blank, and they're the most when you hear.
It's called a lion steer, man.
When you hear the same thing where people says, "I just see red," you lose complete control of everything you're doing, and you're just going berserk. That means you'll pick up, and you have no limits of when you can stop. So when you hit that point, again, if you can walk away. As long as you're communicating with your attacker, you have a chance to talk your way out of a fight. Diffuse. There's no point. Don't try to be a hero or try to prove anything to anybody, or mostly we try to prove it to ourselves that, I can take this guy, or, like I said, I've seen people fight over the dumbest stuff. I remember one time I saw a fight, two guys were outside the club and their eyes locked, and one guy said, "You're looking at me funny." Goes, "You're looking at me funny." So here's two dumbasses about to fight over who's looking at who funny. What he didn't know, six of his friends walked out of the club and beat the shit out of the guy and front of his girlfriend to a pulp to the point we had to jump in and separate them. And then we had to end up fighting with these guys over the dumbest stuff. So, you know, if you can talk your way, talk your way. You know, never underestimate anybody. You don't know who you're dealing with in the street. And like I said, the guys who scare me the most, you know, are the guys that, you know, sometimes don't have any training experience. They're just dirty fighters, and they'll, like, you know, and again, sometimes you might get into fight and you might beat the shit out of the guy or win the fight or whatever you want to call it.
He'll come back.
He'll come back. That's a scary thing. You don't know who you're dealing with. You might take him out, knock him out, win, lose, survive, whatever you want to call it, but the guy might say, shit, I remember what this guy did. And one day, you know, you're crossing the street and you're with your wife and your kids, and 5 years ago, that guy still remembers what you did to him, and he was psycho enough to try to pull out a knife and try to stab you. I heard of a story like this happen, and I couldn't believe it. But shit like this does happen, you know? So you gotta, you know, we're teaching people self-defense. That means, you know, our system is a defensive system. I always tell people, either you try to talk your way out of a fight or you go preemptive. And what that means is you do everything you can to walk away from the fight. And when you can't, you have to go preemptive. That means I've done everything I could, and then I have no choice but to hit him. I have no choice but to go preemptive. You know, again, against a larger attacker, people are like, oh yeah, but hitting preemptive is pussy, you're a coward, it's a cheap shot. You think I'm gonna let this 300-pound guy wind up and build himself up to hit me first so I don't look like a pussy or a coward?
The only way to beat me, man, is go preemptive.
Totally, and he knows it. He knows it. That's why.
Way.
He knows, because he knows once he winds up and he starts swinging that punches, or he decides to slam you against the wall or jump on you, it's like, you know, trying to fight a bear. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about, there's no black and white. There's no system that is 100% foolproof. There's too many variables. Example, I might do a scenario with Moose that might work, and I might do it with a smaller attacker and it won't. Generally, it's the other way around. You know, I've done one-arm lapels with guys my size, and I could strike their face, while with Moose, I can't strike his face, so I need a different strategy. So my question is to people who teach self-defense, how do you, you know, have an ABC 1, 2, 3 system that you're trying to apply for every single attacker when it doesn't work? And there's too many variables.
First thing is, if I know if you're capable of fighting, if I see you're capable of fighting, right, you have some kind of experience, first thing I'll do is, like I showed in one of your videos, is that I would take your breath away. I would use my weight against you. I would go on top of you, bring you to the floor, and take your breath away. Once your breath, you can't fight back.
You see,
You know?
that's a strategy, and that's what he would do. You know, you talk to another larger attacker, he'd say maybe I'd stay outside and I would just start swinging, trying to knock you out. So you don't know what each attacker will do.
No.
And like I said, in our Code Red defense videos, you know, in our, I think it's a larger attacker, and even knife video, we have, you know, one attacker, Marco, who's 6'4", and then we have, I can't remember, another attacker who's shorter, and Gio, and one guy's 5'8", and one guy's 6'4". It didn't work. I can trap the knife against him and go in and strike, but I could trap the knife, but I couldn't strike because he had a longer range. So how do people tell me against the knife you go A, B, C, or D, and they learn that expecting it to work against every single attacker? It's impossible. So you're training wrong. When I look at self-defense systems and I see the guy teaching, you know, like again, a sequence, as soon as I look at that, I flip, because I know it's bullshit. I know it's not going to work in real life. That's why in our videos, I got guys who are shorter than me, my height, and guys like Moose who are 6'2", 6'4", and we found out pretty quickly making these videos that holy shit, that works with him and it doesn't work with him. So what's important when you're learning self-defense? Train with guys smaller, your size, and bigger. Learn how to improvise in the moment. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to learn more self-defense, go visit CodeRedDefense.com. Big thanks to Moose. We'll have him back again. Stay safe and stay strong.